looking back on it now, I have to remind myself that all really happened.
I know from last time we talked, you're a big Spielberg fan. Was and, and if we move out of uh, science fiction into non-science fiction movies, he's got a huge collection there as well. Is there anything that like pops out to you like an old favorite of yours?
Out of his non-science fiction films, I would say Jaws is probably my all-time.
In a way, you've kind of contributed a bit to the advancement of VR. And is there any way you can think about how you've seen this pan out in almost real life? For us, in the midst of COVID, like I mentioned, we've seen the virtual birthday parties, people trying to connect, um, younger people trying to figure out how to, work at a distance even. Have you seen any of this come true in your life?
Uh, well, yeah, I mean, everything happens. You know, even the news anchors and every host of late night television. Everybody's having to do everything from home, virtually, through the internet, including my daughter, who's going to school uh, online, and then also in the evenings she'll hang out with her friends in Roblox, and spend time in a virtual space there. Which reminds me, she wanted me to ask you if you could get her a unicorn.
I think
Do
there's probably like hundreds of different types of unicorns, and
oh
now that
well,
we've how we work or how we learn, but how we consume entertainment, how we work together. Ultimately, I think the vision of Ready Player One and Ready Player Two, and thinking about this vision of the metaverse, is all these things we do in real life. We can start to imagine, you know, doing in the metaverse. Have you seen any other pandemic related things going on related to that, or any other metaverse related advancements since you wrote Ready Player One?
yeah, a bunch. So much of what I was just imagining in Ready Player One has since come about. Like the Oculus Quest, I got an Oculus Quest, my Oculus Quest here that I use to hang out in a big screen with my friends. There's a
Interesting thing of walking around with friends, uh, then looking up at the screen. I found myself going from in 3D screen to full screen mode back and forth, and I really like looking over to my friend next to me and like watching it together. I had a 1969 Pontiac Firebird 400
oh
cubic inch V8 4-speed. Um, I know DeLorean is like super favorite for you. Do you use the DeLorean? Like how often do you drive it?
I like to take this car out every night between usually like 8 and 10 o'clock, uh, and listen to 80s music, and just like recharge my creative batteries. And whenever I take it out, it always makes people happy. When they're seeing in the car, it's usually somebody's seeing the DeLorean for the first time, and they've never seen a time machine person. So it's like a traveling happiness mobile.
One thing I'm curious about, those DeLoreans, are they stock, or have you had to like modify the engine or anything to keep them going?
Yeah, they're all like 35 years old. They made all the DeLoreans between 81 and 82. They're all about 40, almost 40 years old now, and they like a hobby. Having a car like an old car like this antique is it's a fun hobby to have.
And I think, in a sense, I think those are stainless, aren't they? Like,
Oh
isn't
yeah,
the
they never rust. Yeah,
isn't that
they
like the
never.
Cybertruck 4 years earlier?
I know. Yeah, yeah. It's the Cybertruck definitely looks like it took some inspiration from the uh, DeLorean. For a car that you know came out 40 years ago, it's still the most futuristic futuristic
Yeah.
looking car there is. It looks like a spaceship.
Hey, so I know with Ready Player One and now with the release of Ready Player Two, your life's probably gone through a lot of change. Mine has too. You know, there was this time before. How about you? Like, has your life changed?
Uh, my life has changed drastically. Since I was when I was writing Ready Player One, I was working a tech support job. I was interested in technology, but I always wanted to be a writer. But I also was interested in computers, and working tech support was a way to kind of work in a facet of what I was interested in. But it was a grueling job where I was on the phone, for 10 hours a day and helping people with their computers. And it wasn't a job that I enjoyed, but because I worked that job, a lot of elements of what I was learning about technology, that I had that job and that experience because it worked its way into my stories. Like when I was a kid, we lived in a trailer park for a while, uh, uh, which was not fun. And my room was actually the tiny laundry room of the trailer, and it was just for a little while. Uh, but that was something that I put into Ready Player One. We
Yeah.
sleeping in the laundry room of his trailer,
Yep.
and the stacks and all of that from came from this experience in my real life, and I saw it depicted in a Steven Spielberg movie. So that's something I always like to tell aspiring writers about is sometimes you're doing a job in your life or you're living somewhere that you're not happy with, but later on that could help inspire you to write the story that could change your life. So you should kind of embrace those experiences, whatever is going on in your life, and try to put that into your work.
And I think there's a lot of optimism, in your books as well around the power of imagination. And in effect, the metaverse is built on imagination. So I always take that as a
Like the number three in Ready Player One, three is a magic number. Number seven is a number that comes up a lot in pop culture and in video games. And kind of collecting seven pieces of something is something that would come up in Dungeons and Dragons modules, and also in like Sonic the Hedgehog had seven Chaos Emeralds that were red, yellow, blue, cyan, white, purple, and green. Uh, and once you collected all of them, that's what you had to do to, I think, defeat Dr. Eggman and win the challenge. But there are a lot of quests that involve the number seven, and some songs that involve the number seven. And so I saw that was a way to
through the book and through the movie. And part of the fun, I think, I imagine, of being a sci-fi writer is you're also a futurist in a way. I mean, that's part of the gig of being a sci-fi writer, which sounds really fun. And I think, you know, in Ready Player 2, I think you go even a little further, and there's some really exciting kind of, you know, vision going beyond that.